So, Thomas Ahern, you're very welcome to Queally's Pub, and thanks a million for coming in to cover us last minute.
Thanks very much for having me, Kai.
Yeah, so you might start off telling us a little bit about yourself and where you're from.
Sure. I'm from Ballyduff Upper in County Waterford, and I suppose I've been playing since I was 5 or 6 years of age on the whistle, and picked up the banjo then when I was 8 or so, and I've been playing ever since.
Very good. So we might start off with a tune just.
Sure, yeah.
What do you fancy?
I'll play 2 jigs first, and first one is Jim Donohue's favourite, Leitrim whistle player, and I learned it from playing with Shane Mulcrone, great banjo player from County Mayo. And the second tune then that I'll go into is The Frost Is All Over, a 3-part version of it.
Love it. Very nice. Thanks a million. So, how did you get into playing the banjo, and why did you pick up the banjo? What appealed to you?
I suppose it was so long ago, I don't remember. I'm told that I always wanted to play the banjo from when I was very small. I don't know, did I see it on the telly or did I see someone playing it at home? I'm not sure, but went to the local Comhaltas branch when I was 4 or 5 or something, and they said come back when I was 8 to play the banjo. So I think I played the whistle in the meantime until then to keep me going, but it was never, I was never too interested in it. I was still waiting to play the banjo, and eventually I did, and I started when I was 7 or 8 with Liam Flanagan. He was teaching in West Waterford at the time, but he's a Limerick man and a great fiddle player and banjo player. So that's how I started off, and went to Liam for years, and later on went to Thomas Ahern as well in Waterford City. Another great banjo player from County Carlow. So there, I suppose, the 2 main teachers I had growing up.
I'm just thinking about this week we're here at the Scoil store with Willie Clancy, and what are some of the teachers that we've had? Because I presume you were coming here to the classes as well. So I'm just wondering who were the big influences from teachers you've had here over the years?
Well, I never did actually come to the classes here. No, but I suppose I went to the odd summer school and other places, workshops at Munster Flas, I remember in Dungarvan. That's how I first came across Thomas Ahern actually. And went to Scoil once, I think, and had Trees O'Grady and Kieran Hanrahan, and the workshops with Gavin Strapp and other younger banjo players, I suppose, like that. So a wide range of influences, I suppose, from all of them. I remember Kieran Hanrahan in particular stands out. The workshop I had with him for a day or two in, I think it was Sligo. There's a lot of kind of techniques that he showed us that I'd never come across before, and at the time I couldn't get my head around them at all, but there's things that I still use now after, putting the practice in and figuring them out in the end.
What are some of those things?
I suppose just pull-offs or cuts and things with the left hand that maybe I wouldn't have thought of before.
Maybe just demonstrate
I suppose what would I have done in that tune? It's a different tune, but that type of thing. The pull off from the D onto the B and things like that. And maybe chords as well that I wouldn't have thought of up until that time. And yes, and not just from that, from listening to other people as well. John Carty was one that I would listen to, Brian McGrath, Angelina Carberry would be a huge influence as well. And I suppose when I was younger as well, I was listening to a lot of Enda Scahill, Jerry O'Connor, so huge range of styles. And
you mentioned Shane Mulcrone as well.
Shane Mulcrone, yeah, I suppose. Actually, he's someone that taught me at Metal. That's something I was at for, I think, 4 years. So, yeah, I came across a lot of different styles there. Shane being one of them. Very steady, kind of rhythmic style. Like some Marcus Maloney as well, would have learned a good bit from him. And yeah, Shane McCrone, someone I've listened to, I suppose, a lot in the last few years, yeah.
Might play us a couple of tunes you got from Shane McCrone. I was wondering. Well,
I suppose that first jig I played there was from him. I suppose I could play another reel that I learned from another huge influence as well, and maybe I'll try and play one of his tunes, would have been Bobby Gardner. He would have taught an awful lot in my area. I suppose I never learned from him directly, but from playing in terms of classes, but I would have played with him in sessions and played with all of his students, Emma Corbett, Stephen Hale, Seamus Hyland, all these Jeremy Sage, these boxing melodeon players. So there'd be a lot of melodeon playing.
Do you think there's a sort of a style from that, a box style coming from Bobby, of those? Your West Waterford.
West Waterford, yeah. He would have had a huge influence in, I suppose, on music in West Waterford in particular. Yeah. I mean, melodeon playing is such a big thing because of him. I've often been in sessions where, all the box players, they'd take out the melodeon for a set, but there could be me and 7 or 8 of them or something, And
how has that affected your style?
I suppose it's hard for me to say. Maybe someone else can point it out, but I suppose the choice of tunes at times, and maybe rhythm and things like that. I suppose that's for other people to tell me.
Do you want to give us another?
Sure. What will I play now? I'll play, I think, a real Paddy Moran's Down the Meadow, that I got from Shane Mulcrone, and after that maybe Devaney's Goat or something, which I would have got from Bobby.
man, good man. That's great.
Caught me on the hop there with that.
Ah, yeah, nice surprise for you. That's great stuff. I was just wondering, outside of banjo players, then what were the other sort of other influences on you?
I suppose I went through phases at different stages of not wanting to listen to banjos at all. Yeah, wanting to play a different instrument. I'm not really sure. I suppose just maybe listening to other instruments and thinking, geez, I'd love to play that. You know, I suppose Bobby, you know, would be one in terms of box players. Daniel Mahoney would have listened to a lot of, as well as Mihal and MacDara O'Reilly, Frankie Gavin and Devaney and things like that, you know. So I suppose I listened to anything I could get my hands on, really. Yeah.
And then going back further as well, think about the banjo players from the 1920s America, those early commercial recordings. Are there bits of them that you take influence from as well?
Sure, yeah. I suppose bits and pieces from the Flanagan brothers would have influenced me over the last few years. In particular, when I was playing with, you know, the likes of Emma Corbett and doing concerts with her, I would have listened to recordings of them and picked out a few tunes, and yeah, I suppose they would have an influence on my style to an extent, but it's very different to banjo playing nowadays, because they would have been playing in tenor tuning, you know, in CGDA, whereas we're playing the same tuning as a fiddle nowadays. Yeah. So it's most people are anyway. So it's a very different style.
Yeah, and the other thing that has always stood out to me about your playing is the influence of people like the Dwyers as well, John Dwyer and Finbarr.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The Dwyer brothers, yeah, I absolutely adore their tunes. John, Michaels as well, Richie, and Finbarr, of course, yeah, probably my favourite composer. I was lucky enough to meet John once or twice when I was younger in one or two sessions around Waterford City. I think he was based in maybe New Ross at the time, and would have played a good bit of music there. So, yeah, some of my favourite tunes were written by them, absolutely.
Yeah. Would you give them a go?
I could try. I could try one or two, yeah. Yeah, the Caha Mountains is a lovely tune by John that I learned from, I think it was Angelina Carberry, who I mentioned earlier, and Martin Quinn a number of years ago, an album they recorded together. And after that, I might try the Spring Well, one of Finbarr's tunes.
lovely, Tom. Great, Tom.
That's good.
I was just admiring the tone of that banjo as well. You tell me a little bit about it and where it came from.
Well, I've had it a couple of years now. It's an Epiphone recording Alhambra. So it was made in New York in 1927, I believe. So I'm very lucky to have it, and they're very much in demand at the moment. They're kind of the fashionable banjo to have these days.
The Rolls Royce
banjos,
yeah,
absolutely, yeah.
And what are you looking for when you're picking a banjo? What stands out to you?
I suppose a clear tone anyway, but sometimes it's kind of hard to put your finger on, and you don't really know until you pick it up what the. When you find the right one, is what you know. But other than that,
what are you not looking for?
What am I not looking for? At the moment, a modern banjo, I suppose. It's the vintage banjos along the lines of this now that I prefer. There's just something about the tone, maybe the fact that they've been broken in for so long. Maybe that's part of it. And just the way they were built as well. I mean, they're gorgeous. I mean, the designs and inlays on them are beautiful,
And so, Tom, talk to me about some of the other people who you're playing music with at the moment. So, who are you involved with?
I suppose the Ceilí Band that I'm involved with is one of the main ones, and the Glór and dTonn Ceilí Band in County Mayo. So a lot of work going into that at the moment, I suppose, for the flacciole and all of that. A lot of travel involved too, coming from. I suppose I'm based in Dublin now, but beforehand I was coming from County Waterford to County Mayo and County Sligo for practices. So that's very enjoyable anyway. So it's worth it in the end. I suppose this week, some of the people I've been playing with, Barry Conady, I'm good friends with, Schiffer Hanley, who else now? Who else have been playing with? Owen Baxter was on the radio with us yesterday.
Mara as well.
Mara O'Connor, yeah. And I suppose a lot of the crowd that I was on a Comhaltas tour with a few years ago, as well. Tom Gavin is in the Ceilí Band, Seamus Tiernan, Fionnuala Donnellan, great musician. I mean, I could go on, and like yourself as well. Lucky enough to play with you the odd time as well. Cun Broderick, great piper I played with the other day as well. So I mean, the list just goes on. There's only a few names, and I'm leaving out God knows how many. So
and just on the Ceilí Band as well, are you playing differently whenever you're playing with the Ceilí Band as you would?
I suppose so. Yeah, it's a lot. You have to keep things kind of plain and simple and loud. That's kind of.
That's one of the things I've always remarked in your own playing is it's a lot more reserved than a lot of banjo players. It's quite measured in ways.
Well, maybe in terms of volume, but at times maybe I put too much into the tune, you could say as well. So.
And just what to you is the importance of a week like this, like the Scoil Willie Clancy? Well,
I suppose I was never lucky enough to come to the classes here, but it's great for the students, for 6 days of classes, and they have a range of tutors from around the country. I'm privileged to be part of it now alongside people that I learned from when I was younger, So just to play a small part in it is great. And the numbers this year are huge. I think we've 142 banjos or something like that, and 12 teachers, so it's great to be a part of it. Yeah.
What are you saying to the students in your class? What wisdom are you imparting on them when you're in there?
Oh, I don't know about wisdom. I suppose trying to give them some nice tunes. Maybe, I suppose not anything too complicated, but things that maybe wouldn't be as common, and that they wouldn't have learned elsewhere before. Yeah.
And what's your assessment of banjo playing in this Irish traditional music scene today? How do you think it sits?
Oh, there's some amazing banjo players around. Like I mentioned a lot of names earlier, but there's some great banjo players coming up in an under 18 categories, we'll say, in the FLA, and I mean people around my age and a bit older, the likes of Elaine Riley, George McAdam were playing in the recital the other night, and just amazing music, I suppose it's just evolving all the time, and different banjo players are taking it to new places.
Is there anything you would change about banjo playing as it is now, or traditional music in general? Without getting too controversial.
No, I wouldn't say so. No, I'm more easygoing than that. Yeah. Just play away.
Yeah. Thanks, man, for coming in, Tom. Anyway, you might finish up with one more set of tunes you fancied.
Sure, yeah. I could think of something now. I'll play Barnlands first, maybe. I mentioned Flanagan Brothers earlier on. I heard them playing a version of this, and PJ Conlon as well recorded it too. So there's, I suppose, there are two versions, kind of a mixture of both of them. And I think I'll play a reel after that. We'll see.
Yeah. Good man. Thanks a million, Tom.